can't really get that mad. This is okay. This is whatever, you know. It's not that bad. There's not much to object really. It's wow. I'm amazed. I'm in awe. So the Grammys for 2019 ended up being pretty decent overall. I'm pretty impressed with some of the choices they made. Definitely some surprises too, some disappointments. I'll get to them as well. But overall, I don't think there's too much to object to this time around. I think the best way to take the Grammys and any award show these days is that, look, they're not the best place to go for recommendations. Like, you don't really need an award show to tell you what's good, especially in today's day and age with the way that we have basically took the power back from what we can listen to with streaming services. You know, we're the taste makers now. We don't really need pretty outdated people telling us what's album of the year, what's record of the year, what's song of the year. You know what I mean? We can make that decision for ourselves. You can probably go elsewhere to find better recommendations, but for what they are this year, they're not as bad as they've been in previous years. We don't have a To Pimp a Butterfly situation, or even last year where, 24 Karat Magic taking away all those awards when it really didn't deserve that many. Like, just things like that didn't really happen this time around, which I've got to say is pretty impressive. Do want to run down the disappointments first, so I don't want to make a too negative video. I actually looked back at my predictions video from December, and I'm not really happy with how it turned out. I do think I spoke well in the video, but I think I was just too negative throughout the whole thing. I don't want to be too cynical all the time about these kind of things. Just take it for what it is, and for what it is this time around, it's okay. But the disappointments for me, I think the biggest one, to be honest, is that Janelle Monáe, got Album of the Year nominated for Dirty Computer. Big nomination, huge nomination. But when you look through the rest of the categories, she's nowhere to be seen. I think actually, that's a huge disappointment. I mean, I think it would have been great to see her win Album of the Year, but the fact that she didn't, she at least could have taken away something. Why not Song of the Year for Make Me Feel? Why couldn't have that at least been nominated? I don't think it would have won, but I think it at least deserves a nomination. Or maybe in the R&B categories for something like Crazy Classic Life. Could have got something like that easily. When you look at the best pop vocal album category, and you've got people like Pink and Camila Cabello, you could have easily slotted in Dirty Computer. Like, she could have got a nomination there. I don't see why not. That's a big disappointment for me. Other disappointments for me as well, not too bothered that Justice won Best Electronic Album. Would have definitely preferred to see Sophie or John Hopkins though. They would have been definitely better picks, I think. But it might have been one of those awards where, like, Justice have not really gotten that recognition from the Grammys throughout most of their career. So it's like one of those constellation prizes type thing, like, oh, here's your award now. We didn't give it you back in 2007 when you put out your best album. We'll give it you now, that kind of thing. Alternative music album going to Beck is a slap in the face. First of all, it's not alternative, it's a straight up pop album. Secondly, why do the Grammys love Beck so much? I don't know. The older you get, the more you realise that Beck isn't that as good as he's made out to be honest. He took Best Engineered Album as well. I just think that's a bit lame, to be honest. And look, Mass Seduction is St. Vincent's worst album yet, in my opinion. Still better than the Beck album. Utopia by Bjork, one of her worst albums, I think, as well. It's still better than Beck. Like, it's just a terrible... no. Best Rap Album, I think, is disappointing. Didn't really rate Cardi B all that much, to be honest. She has some good hits, some good songs, but as the album, on the whole, it wasn't very good. Definitely should have gone to Daytona. I don't know how that award didn't go to Daytona. Even maybe Astroworld would have been a better pick, to be honest. Swimming, they're all better albums than Cardi B's album, so I definitely think that was a disappointing victory, to be honest. I mean, the fact that No Name didn't even get a nomination is pretty terrible in itself. Saba didn't get a nomination. These are great rap albums from 2018 that got no recognition. So yeah, disappointing, to see that so many omissions, so many artists were left out of that category. But to give it to Cardi B over Pusha T is nah. And finally, for my disappointments, I gotta say This Is America probably didn't really need to take home that many awards. Kind of funny that Donald Glover wasn't even there to take the awards. Kind of really shows what artists think of the Grammys in general, to be honest. But to take home, what was it, 4 awards I think it was. One of them being Video of the Year, which he absolutely deserved. I'll give him that one. But Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and I think it was Best Rap Song Performance. The song's not that great. Like, some other artists definitely could have taken home at least 2 of those awards and maybe given him, I don't know, Record of the Year and then Song of the Year and Rap Song Performance to someone else, but not all of them. However, though, when you do look at the category for Record of the Year, the only really other competition that you could argue that would have won was Shallow. Shallow probably was a better pick, but I suppose the rest of the picks, I mean, I'm just looking at them here. You've got God's Plan, you've got The Middle, not particularly great songs, so I suppose This Is America did end up really being the best song in the category. Just disappointing to see it take home so many awards. I don't know why the Grammys think the song is that great. As I've already said though, there were definitely other picks to put in Song of the Year, like Make Me Feel. Songs like that definitely would have deserved the place over This Is America, really. But yeah, you got to take what you can get. I just think the song really loses its impact without the video, so I don't think it really deserves this many awards. It was very much in the moment. People were buzzing over it when it first came out, myself included, but over time it just lost its impact, and I just don't think it has that longevity to it. But yeah, everything else I've got to say I'm kind of happy with. I'm fine with Casey Musgraves winning Album of the Year. The attitude of, I've never heard of this artist, why have they won this award over this popular artist, is awful. If you think that way, I don't want to talk to you, because that's just a terrible attitude. Just because you haven't heard an album doesn't mean you have an opinion on why it shouldn't, you know, like, you don't, your opinion doesn't count if you haven't heard it. Like, you've got to listen to it first. Just because you love Drake, or you're a Post Malone stan, or, you know, you're a Cardi B fan, it doesn't mean that Casey Musgraves doesn't deserve the award. It's just a really stinking attitude. The album is good, to be fair. It's definitely not the best of the year from 2018. There were other albums better than it. But in the category that it was in, I think it was the best one there. Again, I think Janelle Monáe was also deserving of the award, but they were the 2 albums, really, in that category that was so much better than all the other ones that there's just not even a conversation to have. I mean, Scorpion was so bad. I can't believe people would think that that deserved Album of the Year. Best Pop Vocal Album did go to Sweetener though, can't really argue with that. I think it was definitely the best in that category. Best Duo Performance went to Shallow, again the best in that category, can't argue with that. Seeing High on Fire take away Best Metal Performance is pretty awesome as well. Best Rock Album going to Greta Van Fleet is whatever. I guess people should have really seen that coming. But, you know, at least it actually was a rock album, unlike Pacific Daydream and Mania. Best rock song going to Mass Seduction by St. Vincent is awesome as well. Absolutely awesome to see that win. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Well, I was rooting for it, but I did not expect that to win. Best rap song performance ended up being a tie between King's Dead and Bubbling. The fact that Bubbling actually won, it didn't cleanly win. It ended up, you know, joint winning with another song. But the fact that it ended up being in the top 2 is amazing to me. I thought it was dead set going to something else. Absolutely happy to see Bubbling win. But again, it's a category that actually was a rare one for me, because I think most of the songs in there were good. Sicko Mode, it's a good song. Nice for What is a great song. Nice for What really should have replaced God's Plan. I think that would have been a better win for Drake, to be honest. It's one of his best songs ever. But yeah, I mean, bizarre to see a tie in the Grammys. I don't know how they end up with that, to be honest, but the fact that Bubbling is part of it, I'm happy with. Country album going to Casey Musgraves, country song going to Casey Musgraves, fair wins. Like, I'm okay with this. Again, it's just really cool to see that they didn't go for the popular pick for Album of the Year, honestly. It could have easily just gone to Scorpion or Invasion of Privacy. It didn't, and I'm really happy to see that. It's a safe pick for the Grammys, definitely. You know, the country album with a bit of a pop flair to it is pretty Grammys pick, to be honest. But I can't really argue with it, because it was definitely an album that deserved it. So yeah, I feel like I should just leave it here. There's not much else to say. Overall, this is a fair Grammys overall. Definitely some picks that I do massively disagree with, but I can't really get too mad, because a lot of the categories had weak nominations, to be honest. Like R&B song going to Booed Up by Ella May. I don't hate the song, but it's not really that great of a song. But the rest of the tracks that it was against were pretty weak. The same with the urban contemporary album, going to the Carters. Not a particularly good album, but the rest of the competition was weak. So you kind of expect some of these ones overall. But the good stuff was good. I can't really argue with the good stuff. Some really great picks overall. Yeah, it definitely could have gone much worse. Not a lot to get mad at. Decent overall. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on these awards too. If you think other songs or albums deserved a win. Best New Artist did go to Dua Lipa as well. I think most people were expecting that. Dua Lipa has been huge over the past few years. She's certainly not new, but that's a different argument for another day. I don't really know how that category works, to be honest. She's been around for a good 3 or 4 years now. Thank you for watching. That is everything I've got to say about the Grammys. Let me know your thoughts. Have a good day. Goodbye.